Now you said something that should have been challenging, but you said it as though isn't it obvious to everybody, about law and art being very congruent with each other. That's not normally understood. Normally law is seen as rationality, detached.
Law is absolutely not rational.
That's
Why do you think that?
And then art is seen as emotional and wild and anarchic and telling its own story in its own way. Now you say the two go together.
Yeah, they are very close for me. Our current understanding of art is very, very close to law, because law permeates the entire society. If you imagine a framework of a legal framework, it is like really a set of forms of reading, basically, and a set of forms of interpretation, which to some extent art also provides a framework of reading and interpretation.
I would add something where you're going. It's storytelling, and storytelling about human beings and relationships, and judges in particular are great storytellers within a certain framework, with a certain palette, with a certain audience, a certain modality. But ultimately, it's about people and relationships and existence and meaning and meaning and meaning and meaning. And art is also about meaning.
And it's about translations, interpretations,
and mining meaning and challenging meaning. And I think when law is used for purposes of oppression, at same legal language, same legal instruments, but not to enable people to express themselves and be emancipated and lead their lives, but to stop them from doing that. It's telling a terrible story, a horrible story, a negative story, a dark story. But when law is there in touch with the human heart and feeling and aspirations and the pains and the joys and the puzzlement and the tragedies and all that big range of emotions that people have, when law is aware of that and responsive to that, it becomes better law. And, I certainly found in my experience as a judge, I hated the idea that judges were dispassionate in the sense of cut off from the emotions of the world, that judges were purely rational. Judges are part of the world that they're interpreting, they live in that world, but they have a particular role. So they have to be dispassionate in the sense of impartial, and it's often not easy, and accepting a certain tradition, a certain methodology, a style of work, so that people have confidence in it. They can entrust themselves to the unfolding of the law. There's a fairness built into the very nature and character of law. That's so important. But at the same time, it's rules that are animated by the heartbeat, by the fears.
I like to believe that artistic practice is a practice of compassion, is a practice of care, it's a practice of consideration of human experience that really uses scriptures and objects, forms and symbols to complicate the reading somehow, to some extent, and that so in that it comes close to law again. That's just what I wanted to add.
Even the idea of the judge being passionless, cut off, pure reason, without compassion, without emotion, without feeling, without connection with the world, it's completely false.
Absolutely.
But the idea of the artist as being a wild anarchist who doesn't think,
that's also completely
rubbish.
wrong.
I think of our great artists in South Africa. Then the other theme I've been dealing with a lot is passion and reason. And normally the projection is that
passion is not reasonable.
Art is not reasonable and law is not passionate. And that's just not true. I think the good judge is dispassionate in the sense of being impartial, listening to everybody, understanding the arguments, giving reasons, substantiated reasons for the decisions, being transparent and open, that's on the one hand, but also filled, I believe, the good judge, with compassion. It's about people, the meaning of the law for people, the impact on people, on their lives. And people are not just abstract individuals, subjects of rights. They're living in communities, in neighborhoods, in languages, in families, in their imaginations. They're always situated and contextualized, and that's what makes it so interesting to acknowledge the huge diversity of human beings and the enormous universality and commonality and the tensions between diversity and commonality. Acknowledge those things.